Why are some women single while others have many admirers? In this video, we'll talk about women's loneliness. Perhaps you've wondered why this happens. Maybe you're attractive, smart, interesting, well-read, but you're still alone. And next to you is a neighbor, a friend, an acquaintance who, in principle, doesn't really shine with any particular knowledge or appearance, or anything else, but she is always surrounded by admirers. So today, we'll talk about why this happens and what to change in your life if at some point you recognize yourself. And the first reason is negative past experiences, fears, and doubts. And often a woman has a secondary benefit to staying single. That is, she doesn't admit this to herself. She has gone through some difficult experiences. She has been through some relationships that were difficult for her. Perhaps there were infidelities, betrayals, or maybe the relationships were painful, abusive. And a woman, on a subconscious level, understood and accepted the idea that, for example, relationships equal pain. So if a woman doesn't work through this and doesn't deal with it, then she won't enter into a relationship. That is, she is afraid of relationships and she will avoid them in every possible way. So, no matter what kind of man appears in her surroundings, with all his appearance and behavior, she will show him that she is unavailable, she is cold, she is busy, and so on. That is, she will exude such coldness, and men won't approach her. They won't notice her. In principle, she doesn't want relationships, but on a subconscious level, the thought has settled that relationships bring pain. So, if you had a negative experience in the past and you have been alone for a long time, then it's necessary to work on this aspect in order to build happy relationships in the future. The next point is self-esteem and self-confidence. It's actually difficult to connect with other people when you don't believe in yourself. Self-esteem is actually the foundation of any relationship, whether it's with a man, work relationships, or relationships with life itself. If you realize that you don't believe in yourself, you understand that you have issues with self-esteem. It's essential to work on this. Improved self-esteem enhances the quality of life. For women, a woman who is confident in herself and, like all women, has some flaws, knows how to turn them into strengths. She sees the beauty in herself that both women and men can see. Confidence is always beautiful. Confidence is always wonderful. A confident woman is very attractive, and her self-confidence is appealing to everyone. A woman lives a qualitatively better life. Therefore, if you realize that you have issues with self-esteem, it means you need to work on it. And that's the first thing you need to do. Next, energy and charisma. In fact, people feel comfortable, let's say, in the presence of charismatic people because they emit such positive, energizing vibes. It's fun, interesting, and pleasant to be around them. People feel happy. People feel comfortable. And you want to be around charismatic people. You want to communicate with them. You want to recharge from them with this energy and charisma. The same cannot be said about reserved people. After all, negative energy, people who, let's say, have internal problems, who have a lot of negativity, who are focused on something bad, they emit this energy. People with negative energy appear closed off, boring, and uninteresting. And as a result, this can again be a reason for loneliness. If you realize that you are constantly in negative thoughts, fears, doubts, worries, anger, and resentment, you need to do something about all of this in order to live a different life and not live it in loneliness. Think about whom you would like to communicate with. Imagine this person and endow them with certain qualities, some wonderful qualities. Whom would you like to communicate with? Whom would you like to talk to? Whom would you like to be friends with? Name these qualities and then consider whether you possess the same qualities. And this is what you need to work on. We often don't notice it in ourselves, but what we like in other people is exactly the direction we need to move towards. The ability to communicate and maintain interest. People who know how to listen to their conversation partner, who can listen attentively, ask leading questions, and show interest. When a woman listens attentively to a man, when she asks leading questions, when she inquires and is engaged in the conversation. The man likes her more. He sees her interest in him and in the conversation. And of course, a man wants to spend time with such a woman, wants to be in her presence, closed off and uninterested. People who are not interested in the conversation are not interested in anything and are not really people. They repel others, there are no points of contact with them, no intersections. We always like it when we are listened to. Therefore, if you recognize yourself and realize that you like to talk more about yourself and listen less, try to listen to your conversation partner, listen attentively, show interest in their story, ask them leading questions, and you will see how the conversation partner changes towards you. Next, appearance and self-care. Of course, we all like beautiful, well-groomed people. And of course, this is a huge plus because a man always evaluates a woman with his eyes. That is, if she is pleasant in appearance, then, as the man communicates, he understands what is inside. So the most important thing here is not to go overboard. There are women who pay absolutely no attention to their appearance, and there are women who are too focused on their appearance. And there is no time left for depth, for developing some of their inner qualities. So if you are fixated only on appearance, then you might attract a superficial man into your life who won't care about what's going on inside you. But what if you are too focused on your inner world and don't pay attention to your appearance? Then you might not attract the right one, so maintain a golden mean. Your appearance should be well-groomed, but your inner content should also include emotional openness, as open people are attractive to men. Emotional openness allows one to be closer to a woman and understand her better, meaning she is open. She truly understands who she is, and he feels this openness, and he feels good with her. But there are emotionally closed people who don't let others into their inner world, and they actually appear cold and inaccessible, and such women are often avoided by men. The ability to enjoy life. People who know how to appreciate the moment, who can live in the here and now, are incredibly energized, charismatic, vibrant, and interesting. And naturally, they are attractive. There are people who endlessly complain about life. They don't notice that life is happening right now, in this very second, in this very minute. They don't see anything beautiful. They're fixated on past problems and future fears. They dwell in such negativity. Of course, again, such people appear closed off and cold. You don't want to be around them. And such women and men are often avoided. A woman is beautiful when she does what she loves, and she is energized by it all. Her eyes shine. She looks different, and her skin glows. She has an incredible energy because she does what she loves. She is full of love, and she shares it. In other words, she reflects into the world what is inside her, and you really want to be near her. If you realize that you are stuck in your stresses, worries, negativity, or you blame yourself for the past, find yourself in a frightening future and fearsome problems, stop, just freeze and look around. What is around you right now? Remember when you last did something nice for yourself, something you love. Perhaps you have already forgotten how to make yourself happy and indulge in some moments. Stop for a moment and look around. Life passes by like a fast train. If you wait for the final destination, you might not see what was along the way to that very destination. Therefore, learn to enjoy life. Notice that there is actually a lot of beauty in every day. You just need to take a closer look. The fear of being rejected. In fact, any fears you have will hinder you from building relationships. They will prevent you from meeting a man, from living life to the fullest. If you realize that you have certain fears, if you understand that you want a relationship but are afraid of it, reflect on why you are afraid. What fears are preventing you from building your life, your dreams, and try to step beyond your fears. Don't be afraid anymore, but try to live. If you realize that you can't overcome your fear of relationships, because perhaps you had some very painful relationships in the past, and you decided that you would live alone, for example, your whole life. But time has passed, and now you want a relationship. But inside, yes, that fear remains, and the decision to be alone also remains, and something needs to be done about it. So, if you can't handle it on your own, seek help from a professional. They will definitely help you deal with this problem. And naturally, a woman who is not afraid of being rejected, not afraid of relationships, she sees a man she likes, she feels emotions, she easily enters into these relationships. This ease and lack of fear often help a woman build happy, vibrant, beautiful, strong relationships. And lastly, self-development. For a woman, in fact, this is very important. A woman who takes care of herself not only externally, but also internally. She grows internally. She is very interesting. She has a deep inner world. She is fulfilled. It's like a cup that is filled to the brim. She can share something, but you can't drink water from an empty cup. It's simply impossible. Therefore, engage in self-development. Fill yourself up. Immerse yourself in your interests, your hobbies, and activities that are interesting to you. Study what you like, get involved in what you want and what is important to you. And you don't need to think that often. There might be a phrase that it's a waste of time, that you need to do something useful, necessary, and so on. What brings you happiness and pleasure is a very important aspect of life. And it is not a waste of time. It's the time when you charge yourself for achieving some results. A person who doesn't recharge themselves, who doesn't fill themselves up, won't have the strength to cope with some difficulties and situations. So, a woman who engages in self-development is like a cup filled to the brim. And of course, there will be a man nearby. A woman who doesn't want to fill herself up is empty and often uninteresting. And outwardly, she may be attractive. But during some communication or conversations, some men start to lose interest because the emptiness becomes uninteresting to them. He first saw the image, and then that image dissolved. That's all for this video. I was with you, Elisa Vardomskaya. I hope for your likes and subscriptions. Write in the comments what you'd like to discuss in my new videos. Don't forget to hit the bell, and goodbye to everyone.